Are you about to start training for an Ironman? Well, great, then this video is for you. Today I will walk you through how we approach the planning of your training and racing season. And to make things a little bit less abstract, I will base the walkthrough on a case. So let us start. It all starts with your individual input. Usually that data comes via a form on our website. For example, you will give information about your goal for the season, how long before the race you can train, your strength and weakness, and previous experience. Based on this, we start the planning process. We just received the information from Sven, a seasoned age grouper. He has accomplished several sprint and Olympic triathlons. During the last 2 years, he also finished 2 half Ironman and 1 full-distance triathlon. Sven has a background in running, with a personal best on a half marathon at 1:35. That is an average running pace of 4:30. When it comes to cycling, he joined a club some years ago. Training with the club, however, is all about group rides. Nevertheless, Sven's functional threshold is around 225 watts. His weakness is swimming, and he's always struggling in the middle of the pack, never able to get into his own rhythm. That said, given his background and the previous results on the Ironman distance, that is 11:47, he's now aiming for personal best at sub 11:30. To get a better picture of Sven as an athlete, let us have a look at the data from his previous events. And do not stress too much about all the numbers. I will try to explain the more important patterns. The first thing that comes to my mind is his run splits. Given that Sven is a strong runner, I believe there is room for improvements. Of course, you cannot expect the same pace as running a standalone half marathon, but we should be able to help Sven to finish his Ironman with a strong run. And the usual suspect when it comes to quote-unquote poor running is the bike split. All too often we see that people go too hard and drain themselves on the bike, which gives no room for errors when it comes to the run split. And this is especially true for the full-distance triathlon. So, some emphasis on the bike during the pre-season will help his running. So what about the swimming? Well, since swimming is the most challenging for Sven, we will address it early on. The idea is to take care of his technique as well as to make him an overall stronger swimmer. All in all, the coaching will assist Sven to shave off a couple of minutes on each split, and altogether help Sven to fulfill his goal of 11:30, and as you can see, with some margin. To play around with your own numbers, I suggest that you Google Triathlon Calculator. You will find several web apps. When you alter your numbers, you will probably notice that with relatively small improvements, you will get great result. Okay, we are now ready to build a training plan for Sven. I have prepared a sheet in Excel. In the top row, we have headings that correspond to our training programs. The left column is weeks to go. It shows that Sven has 35 weeks until race day. As I just said, we immediately address his swimming. This starts with the video-based swim analysis. Sven can then use the feedback from us in his upcoming steps. To gain some momentum, Sven continues with 4 weeks of swim training. It will give him a kickstart and take his swimming to the next level. This is combined with the bike boost. Again, this is meant to increase Sven's cycling-specific fitness and build his general strength, and support for a better run split. The next block includes 12 weeks of structured training in all disciplines. Since Sven has a solid training background, he can jump right into the build program and skip the recommended pre-step, that is, keep up base. Keep up build will of course develop his aerobic endurance. However, more time will be spent on increasing Sven's muscle endurance and speed. That's right, I forgot to say that the first block of training starts with a swim and bike test. And Sven will continue to do tests regularly during the season. And based on the results, calibrate his training zones for an even more relevant and individualized approach. During the last week, we will include a so-called big day. It is a perfect way to mimic the main race. But during the big day, Sven will split up the distance and rest and eat between each discipline. Until this point, Sven has trained for 16 weeks, and the sessions during this period have been quite demanding. Therefore, we had a week of recovery. The purpose is to allow Sven to reload both physically and mentally before his next step. Remember, while the stress from the training tears you down, the rest and recovery builds you up. Before the specific race training, Sven will have to dig deep and do a combined boost of bike and run. The purpose of this endless brick session is to strengthen him properly before the race training. Sven may perceive those weeks as harder than the upcoming Ironman, but he will not regret it on race day. As you can see, I've altered between regular triathlon training and boost periods all through the season. The idea with the latter is to escalate Sven's capacity in each discipline while still being able to recover in the excluded sport. Once again, Sven will have a week off. This time it is a planned family vacation. So, tanned and full of energy from the all-you-can-eat holiday, Sven is now ready for the race-specific training. The last 12 weeks aiming to get Sven all set to do his life's performance on race day. The training picks up where Keep Up Build ends and takes Sven through an ever-increasing training intensity. Sven will do 2 tests and 1 big day, ending with peak training and of course his Ironman. Okay, if you want our help to structure your training, then go to our website and register. Based on your input, we will make a plan for you, and it's totally free. Welcome to TOT.